What's up, guys? My name's Gabe, and today I'm going to be talking about my dunking journey and how I was able to dunk for the first time at 15 years old. So growing up, I was actually a pretty chubby kid, as you can see. I was never really watching my diet, but with that being said, I did love playing sports. I played a lot of soccer. My parents were both really athletic. I had a pretty terrible attitude, so I really kind of gave up easily on things. But yeah, so at the beginning, I was really more into soccer, but I did like playing sports from a very young age. And so really my love for dunking and kind of like my attraction to dunking started with my father and how he just was really good at dunking when he was younger. He dunked for the first time when he was a junior, and I remember growing up seeing him dunk, and it was like the coolest thing, and I remembered I like wanted to do that as well. And so basically one day I was out with my dad and we were playing some basketball, and he lowered the rim. This was around 7th grade. He lowered the rim down to the lowest setting and asked me if I could dunk the basketball. And I was so confident, so sure I could, but I actually couldn't even touch the rim. My dad actually spent like the whole day trying to teach me how to jump. And that's kind of like the moment where I really noticed my interest for dunking and when I really wanted to start getting better. So then I'd go outside every day and I'd start with a tennis ball and work my way up, but I try to dunk like for hours and hours every day. That's just really something that I did for like basically the rest of my 7th grade year until the end of the school year. And so then fast forward to my 8th grade year, I got a pretty big growth spurt over the summer, and then I actually tried dunking again, and I was able to finally dunk a big ball on the lowest setting. And then so from there I actually started increasing the rim height and tried to dunk even more, starting with a small ball again and working my way up. So actually I didn't really realize it, but low rimming was something that I was doing a lot, and it really helped me get my technique down and kind of understand where to put the ball so I can actually end up dunking it properly. So then I kept low rimming for around most of my 8th grade year, but then kind of stopped towards the middle because I actually ended up getting really filled up with my schedule. Basketball season came to an end. I started getting some performance coaching, and I actually joined track and field, so I was pretty booked up. So I didn't really have time to practice on my low rimming. But with that being said, I did train a lot, so I was pretty athletic, and I still wasn't really watching my diet, so I still was pretty chubby kid. I did love playing sports, so I kept going. Throughout my 8th grade year was actually when I saw a lot of increase on my vertical. With my performance coaching twice a week, it actually really helped me with my coordination and stabilization. And so I was really lucky to have sort of that guidance, because before that I was sort of doing like, you know, the classic bro split. I'd have like one day for chest and like one day for biceps and one day for triceps. I wasn't really getting anything out of it. As soon as I started doing my performance coaching, I remember my vertical started going up, and I'm a 1-footed jumper, and my 2-foot jump was terrible. The first time I tested it, I think it was like a 21-inch vertical or something. It was really not there, and something that I really needed to work on. My 1-foot vertical was actually pretty good. I was part of the high jump team. That really helped me with my technique as well. And so throughout the 8th grade year, I was still doing my performance coaching. As of now, I'd played soccer, track and field, volleyball, and basketball, and I was also on the swim team. So I was pretty athletic. I loved playing sports. And then so after my volleyball season was really when I started taking things seriously, and I told myself I was going to train really hard to try to get my first dunk my freshman year. And it was actually towards the end of 8th grade where I actually touched the rim for the first time, so I was pretty happy. I was actually really planning to get some really good training after my volleyball season, but I actually ended up facing my first really big injury. I herniated my disc. It was really not a cool injury to go through. It was really terrible. It hurt a lot. I sort of remember kind of sitting down wondering if I was even going to play basketball again. So that whole summer I spent doing rehab, and then I came back my freshman year and I was feeling pretty good. So basketball season freshman year was really awesome. I actually made the varsity team, but I basically warmed the bench for my teammates the whole year and got the occasional layup, which I like bricked. And so fast forward, end of basketball season was when I actually started taking my training a lot more seriously. I started doing a lot more things on my own, kind of understanding what it took to become a better athlete overall, not doing the bro split anymore. I was more following like sort of a push-pull legs kind of thing with my friends, but I was also still doing my performance coaching. So I saw my vertical steadily increasing. My back was feeling great, so I wasn't really having any problems there. Post freshman year, going into summer, I was really telling myself, this is the year I'm gonna get shredded. This is the year I'm gonna, you know, get a six-pack finally. This is the year I'm gonna take my training seriously, play basketball every day. I started taking my diet super seriously. Before summer, I was really looking like puffy and kind of like not really athletic. Like I played a lot of sports and I really loved playing sports, but I was never really looking like an athlete, like the person I wanted to look like. And so that summer, I started training a lot harder. And then by the end of the summer, I started looking a lot more lean and a lot more like an athlete. So then sophomore year came around, volleyball season came, and I was just feeling a lot more ready to jump. And so changing my diet was actually something that brought my game to a whole new level. It really wasn't something that I was thinking about earlier. I really just changed my diet because I wanted to look better. But changing my diet not only made me lighter, but it also made my performance better because I was fueling myself with the right type of foods that I needed to become a better athlete. And then so during the volleyball season, I would actually go to my basketball trainings and I'd try a couple dunks and I'd really never make them. Like you can see a couple attempts here. I'd get really close. I'd either get rim-jected or the ball would just go in and out. And so I was really kind of getting the coordination and strength I needed to get there, but it's just I wasn't really confident in myself yet. Post volleyball season, I took a little bit of a break, a couple days off, not really training at all, and I went back to basketball training with my academy, which was 2 weeks before basketball tryouts were, and I went up for a dunk, and I finally hit the dunk. So I got my first dunk. My friend filmed it. It was really awesome. I felt really great. And fast forward 2 weeks to my basketball tryouts. I was dunking in tryouts as well. Not in game, but I was doing it outside, and my coach was really happy to see me as a sophomore dunking. So that was really awesome. I was really the only person on the team that could actually dunk. And so basketball season was going through, and I was still getting a couple dunks between practices and stuff. Never really off the dribble, but more of like running up while carrying the ball. And so then basketball season was over, and I decided to do something pretty risky. I quit my performance training. I wanted to train on my own, try something new. So then I did that for a bit, and a month later, I actually got my first dunk off the dribble. Go. And that's really awesome because my ultimate goal is actually getting a dunk in game. Actually working on getting it off the dribble is really something that's super important because I can't really travel while trying to get the dunk. And my coaches would make fun of me all the time because every time I try to do a dunk and I'd make it, they would just call travel. You know, I wasn't really like thinking about it because I was like, I got the dunk, but they had a point. Like I can't really do it off the dribble, which is something that I really need to be able to do. Right after I hit my dunk off the dribble, I was like, wow, this is working. So I wanted to keep going. So this kind of brings me to where I am now. So I'm a sophomore in high school. I'm 16 years old and I'm 6 feet tall. I can dunk pretty easily off 1 foot and I can dunk off the dribble. So if you're still watching the video, I thank you for making it this far, and you're probably wondering what this YouTube channel is all about. So basically, this YouTube channel is sort of to motivate me to try to make myself better as an athlete and keep myself, you know, accountable to keep training and trying to get stronger. So that was basically my journey to my first dunk. It was a pretty long ride, starting at 7th grade as a pretty chubby kid. Moving up to 10th grade, getting more fit and kind of just changing my overall diet and changing my overall training to help me get my first dunk at 15 years old. And so along the way, I learned a lot of mistakes and a lot of things I could have changed if I were to do it again. And that's sort of how everything goes, you know, you live and you learn. So once again, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I actually plan on making my next video about my goals for the future. I'll go more in depth on what I want to make sort of content and how I want to take my next steps on this YouTube channel. But for now, that was my dunk journey. I appreciate you guys sticking around, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.